Today we're going to be talking about the buyer representation agreement and what it means for home buyers moving forward for residential real estate in the United States, why you're going to have to sign it, and what you need to be really careful of before you put your name on the dotted line. It is so important that you understand these agreements before you sign one. Hi, I'm Emily Farber, your favorite Iowa YouTubing realtor. The buyer representation agreement is now both required and essential. As part of the National Association of Realtors settlement for the Sitzer-Burnett class action lawsuit, buyers must sign an agreement with a realtor before any services are provided. What this does is it really makes it crystal clear as to what the agent is going to do for the buyer, what the cost of those services will be, aka the commissions, the possible scenarios in which the agent would be paid a commission, and by whom, what the rules are, and how the buyer is going to behave under the terms of the agreement. Now, one of the really weird things about real estate is that it is not practiced the same in every state, not even practiced the same within different markets in the same state. In some areas, it has been commonplace for years for buyers to sign a buyer representation agreement before meaningfully engaging with an agent. But in other areas, it has been common for a buyer not to sign an agreement with an agent until they're at the point of writing an offer, maybe not even one at all. That's all changing, and it will be required before an agent can even show a buyer a single house. Gone are the days of just calling up an agent for a quick showing to see if you like him or her and scope them out if you want to continue working together. The only way buyers will be able to tour a house without this agreement signed is if they walk through an open house. The buyer representation agreement has a couple of main components. It would probably be helpful if you requested a copy of the agreement to review before you meet with your prospective agent to discuss it, just so that you are familiar with it all. There are 4 main parts of the contract that you need to understand. The first main component of the buyer representation agreement will outline what the duties, services, and obligations of the broker and agent will be to you. At the bare minimum, it will include things like presenting your offers and counteroffers on properties you seek to buy or lease, assisting you with finding properties based upon your search criteria, assisting you in offers and negotiations, answering your questions about brokerage agreements, offers, counteroffers, notices, and contingencies, providing you with access to listed properties, discussing features of those properties with you, reviewing sellers' disclosures with you if applicable, and disclosing matters required by law which are known, such as property condition, defects, material adverse facts, and other matters relating to the property's value or desirability. And of course, keeping your information confidential according to state law. If the agent offers a service that you find appealing that's not listed on the contract, ask for it in writing to be added to the agreement as an addendum. For instance, if you're looking at like lake properties and the agent talks about how they always tour homes by boat via the lake, get it in writing. Number 2, the next section that you need to understand are your obligations as a buyer. You have obligations too. You'll likely be asked to work exclusively with the broker and agent. You'll need to provide relevant personal financial information in order to determine your ability to purchase real estate. You will need to select some third-party service providers as part of a normal transaction, people like home inspectors, appraisers, etc., which may involve fees that you'll be responsible for, and you will respond to your agent's communication in a timely manner. As part of outlining your obligations, you're also going to specify the type of property that you want to purchase. Things like, what are you looking for? A residential house, a condo, an acreage, a townhome? You'll also want to note the location where you're shopping for property, specific cities, counties, or whole metro areas. Remember, realtors are licensed in their specific state. Some hold licenses in multiple states. So if I were a buyer, I would be hesitant to sign an agreement for a whole state or every state the agent is licensed in, because real estate's hyper-local. For instance, I help people buy and sell residential real estate here in the Iowa City metro, and I probably would not be the best choice for somebody trying to buy a house 4 hours away in Council Bluffs. So if you have not committed to a specific area for your home purchase, maybe you're looking at an entire state or region, make sure that any agreement you sign with an agent is just for certain metro areas and enables you to engage the services of another agent in the other areas that you might be considering. Number 3, another essential part of the buyer's representation agreement is the length of time that it lasts, also known as the retainer period. It could be as short as 1 day, or here in Iowa, as long as a year. Make sure that you know the length of time that you will be held to the contract, and ask the agent how you can get out of the contract if you wish to terminate the relationship with the agent. As with everything in real estate, best practice is to have it in writing. Being released from the agreement could be as easy as you providing written notification to the agent that you wish to terminate the buyer representation agreement for whatever reason. Maybe you just don't like your agent. Maybe he or she is not able to meet your scheduling needs for showings. Whatever. You just need to know the channel in which you are able to terminate the agreement, and if there are any penalties should you choose to terminate. Some examples of a penalty might be maybe your agent has a set travel fee, and if they release you from the agreement early, you will be charged a travel fee to reimburse him or her for the expenses they incurred showing you property. Make the length of time for your buyer representation agreement as short as possible. If it's realistic to think that you're going to find, offer, and purchase a home in like 30 to 45 days, write the contract for 2 months. Don't sign a 6-month contract or a year-long contract. If it ends up taking longer than you expected and you value the services your agent has provided, you can always extend that date. Number 4. Okay, this 4th part of the buyer's representation agreement is likely the part that you have heard the most about and you are feeling concerned about. How does your agent get paid and how much? In the past, most sellers would advertise how much commission they would pay a buyer's agent, whether it was 2%, 3%, 3.5%. That information is no longer going to be available on the MLS. Moving forward, some sellers will continue to offer a commission to buyer's agents, but others will not. In the buyer representation agreement, your agent is going to let you know what their fees are. It could be a percentage of the final sale price, or it could be a flat fee. Like everything in real estate, this fee is negotiable. It's very important for you to understand that if the seller does not agree to pay your buyer's agent's fee, you will pay the fee at closing. Now, I think it's going to be pretty important for agents to be consistent with their fees across the board with all their clients so they cannot be accused of any violations of federal fair housing. You should probably expect them to have some set standards. For example, they might say something like, my base fee for any property over $800,000 is 2%. Between $500,000 to $800,000, it's 2.5%, and any property under $500,000 is 3%. Because the public advertisement of how much a seller is willing to pay a buyer's agent is going to be taken off the MLS come July 1st, you and your agent won't be sure by whom he or she is going to be paid. Your agent will contact the listing agent of each property that you're interested in and ask that listing agent if the seller is offering compensation for a buyer's agent, and then relay that information to you, and you can make the decision if you want to see the house or not, knowing upfront how much money you would have to pay your agent should you choose to pursue that property. You may find yourself in a situation where you are partially responsible for paying your agent. Let's say you find a house that you absolutely love and you decide to get into contract on it. Let's say your buyer's representation agreement with your agent says your agent's fees are 3%, but the seller is only willing to pay 1% towards buyer agent fees. Then what? That means at closing you will owe 2% to your agent. Sometimes the amount the seller is willing to pay might be more than what your agent's fees are. In that case, your agent might come back to you and ask you to amend the buyer's agreement in order to be able to collect that extra money. Or you might be able to roll that money towards your other closing costs. If nobody makes a claim for that money, it's going to stay with the seller. In most cases, the seller doesn't care so much about who is getting paid what. What they actually care about is their net after all fees and expenses have been paid. Sometimes you might encounter a seller who says what they're willing to offer the buyer's agent is negotiable. The translation of that is that they're not willing to put it in writing until they essentially give their listing a trial run on the market to see how it goes, and if they don't have buyers knocking down their door, they want to see what your offer looks like before agreeing to pay for all or part of your agent's fees. Again, the seller is typically most interested in their net, so it matters what your overall offer looks like. You may have to decide if it is most important to you to get a super low price on the house and then pay your agent out of pocket, or is it more important for the seller to agree to pay your agent, in which case you may need to write an offer with a more attractive purchase price. If you don't want an agent at all, that's also an option. Buyers have never been required to work with buyer's agents, and that's not changing. You can call up the listing agent to view the property and then have an attorney write up your offer, and you can do all your own negotiating. Just keep in mind that the listing agent works for the seller and the seller only, and your real estate attorney is likely not going to have the kind of availability that most buyer agents offer their clients. In real estate, we live and die by details and deadlines, so consider yourself warned. Now, in all honesty, it's probably going to take a hot minute for buyer's agents and buyers to get a handle on this new way of life in real estate. The key is transparency. If you're a buyer looking to purchase a home this summer or later, I would love to hear what questions you have or what your concerns are. Let me know down below in the comments section. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate anywhere here in the greater Iowa City or Cedar Rapids metro, I would love to chat with you. You can find all my contact information down in the description box of this video. If you're watching on your phone, just tap the title of the video and that description box will open right up for you. Hey, it's been fun, and I'll catch you later.